hit 12 noon. Almost there.
I have 12:02 on my clock.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. All right, let's go ahead and call the Human Service and Community Safety Committee meeting to order. I'm going to read the following. Due to concerns over exposure of the coronavirus, the city has implemented measures to protect our community, including the closing of council chambers and limiting public attendance to electronic means only. Members of the public may attend the meeting virtually through Cisco WebEx event or view the meeting recorded by visiting tempe.gov/clerk for more information. It is important to understand that no formal votes or decisions about city programs, policies, or budgets will be happening here. Our role is to explore various topics with staff and stakeholders and community members and to make recommendations to our city council colleagues. We want to proceed, we want this process to be transparent, inclusive, and easy for you to be part of whenever you choose to be. And you can share your thoughts with us by filling out a comment card about any item on this meeting's agenda, or by reaching out to us directly with other thoughts, questions, or ideas. We need you to fill out a comment card in advance that can be read into the record for the agendized items. The link of the comment cards can be found in our comment web page at tempe.gov/HSCS. And we would also find contact information for committee members and staff there for non-agendized questions as well. So we're going to go ahead and call the February 25th, 2022 meeting of the Human Service and Community Safety Committee, Council Committee to order. And I'm going to go ahead and have Councilman Garland approve the minutes.
All right, so I move to approve the January 28th, 2022 meeting minutes.
So moved.
That was so easy. All right. Next item is item number 3. It's the committee welcomes public comment according to the Arizona open meeting law, and the committee may only discuss matters listed on the agenda. Matters brought up by the public under public appearances are not listed on the agenda and cannot be discussed by the committee. There's a 3-minute limit per person that will be in effect. And Tim, what kind of comment cards do we have today?
Hello, council members. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, we have received 59 comment cards. Some of them are in attendance and they would like to read their comments into the record. I'm going to do my best to go in order based on the names that I see here as attendees in WebEx. So I will begin doing that now. Amanda Gray, I see as an attendee. So Amanda, I'm going to elevate you and then you will be able to speak. Okay, Amanda, if you unmute, the council members can hear you.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Council members, thank you for the chance to speak today. For the record, my name is Amanda Gray. I'm the Executive Director of the Arizona Petroleum Marketers Association. We represent convenience stores, gas stations, and fuel distributors all across the state and in the city of Tempe. I'm here to speak with you about the proposed tobacco flavor ban that is on the agenda today. Our members are responsible retailers of tobacco and vapor products. We agree that these products do not belong in schools and they should not be consumed by underage individuals. We think that this is the year to pass tobacco and vapor regulation at the state level. We're supporting Senate Bill 1245, which is sponsored by Senator Vince Leach. Senate Bill 1245 will allow 4 different agencies to enforce tobacco and vapor laws in Arizona: the Federal Food and Drug Administration, the State Attorney General's Office, the State Department of Liquor officers, and city police officers who would be able to cite violations into the Department of Liquor for investigation and determination. In addition, Senate Bill 1245 will provide for state licensing of tobacco and vapor retailers. This is an efficient and effective way for the state and the retail community because many of our members are already licensed by the department for alcohol sales. And like the liquor laws, there should be a uniform state standard for training and for consistency. Senate Bill 1245 will confirm the city's authority to do zoning and distance requirements between tobacco retailers, and it will allow for the city to regulate outdoor advertising except on the actual store premises. Vapor flavors are currently being addressed at the federal level by the Federal Food and Drug Administration through the Pre-Market Tobacco Application Process, or PMTA. A flavor ban by the city would be harmful to retailers, and it would not produce meaningful policy outcomes. A city level ban is going to drive purchasers to neighboring cities, to tribal lands, or to the illicit market. And when those customers stop outside of Tempe, they're also going to fill up their gas tank and buy their soda and their snacks at the same time. If a flavor ban proposal advances, we would ask that there be the ability for retailers to have input in a robust stakeholder process before new regulations are imposed. And I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, the next person that I see, I'm sorry, is Doug Jones. Doug, I'm going to make you a panelist, and it will allow you to unmute and speak. Hey, Doug.
Hello, how's it going? I help manage 3 Sky High smoke shop locations and have been around the industry for like over 25 years in like the liquor and tobacco. I have a daughter that I raised and she's now 22 years old, and each time, like when it was 18, she never purchased it up until like she turned 18. Then once they switched it to 21, she stopped vaping. She never did it a lot, but she now it's 21 and she never went to vape. So, I mean, I'm proud of her being able to do that, but I mean that's something we pride in our stores too, is we press for 21. And just the concerns of being over 21 should have the choice of the products for what they're purchasing and stuff like that. I don't think it should be like just only to an 18-year-old, 20-year-olds. It should be, if you're, the law is 21 like how it is for federal, it should just be 21 and over. And just like what the lady said the last time, people are going to go out of the town. I mean, you can drive not even 5 minutes and be outside of Tempe, buy whatever you want to buy that doesn't have the ban, and be able to make the purchases and stuff outside of town. You're going to do not just losing the tobacco sales, but you're going to be also losing on other items that they're stopping in conveniences and stuff like that too. So I think that was short for mine.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Okay, the next person will be Nicole Olmstead. Nicole, I'm going to make you a panelist, and then you can unmute.
Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Fantastic. Council members Garland and Navarro, thank you for the chance to be here today to talk about the sale of tobacco products. As you've heard from others here, should not be in the hands of kids, and we at the American Heart Association agree with that. Unfortunately, 14% of the time, kids are able to purchase tobacco products, and when asked, they indicate that they choose flavored tobacco products over non-flavored tobacco products. You heard a lot just a few moments ago about Senate Bill 1245 and the various things that it might do. What you did not hear is that if you wait for the tobacco industry solution, you will never be able to address tobacco regulation in Tempe again. You won't be able to address flavors. You won't be able to address product placement. You won't be able to address any kind of sales and marketing or regulation of tobacco products in Tempe in the future. Additionally, the zoning that they propose to allow cities and towns to do will allow for tobacco shops to be placed at 301 feet from schools. That's just the length of a football field. We urge you to consider all of the options that you have in front of you and choose the strongest tobacco regulation to keep tobacco products out of the hands of kids, especially flavored products, because we know that that's what attracts them. Thank you for hearing me today.
Thank you, Nicole. Okay, I'm going through my list to see who else is here. I see Kim Gill. She's registered to speak. Kim, I'm going to make you a panelist, and then you can unmute and address the council members.
Hi,
Kim.
good afternoon, everybody. So I've been in this business, convenience store and liquor stores last 25 years. So my concern is we do check IDs, everybody. If Tempe will stop selling the menthol cigarettes, they will go buy another Mesa or close by Gilbert. So my concern is when people come for cigarettes, they buy other stuff as well. So they buy the liquor, they buy snacks. So if those customers stop coming, it will highly affect our businesses in Tempe area. So that's why I'm not in the favor of ban the menthol cigarettes. So yeah, ID regulations, those things we always do check it. So then that will drop the business concern, like our employees and business as well. So that's my concern is on this point.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
Okay, the next attendee is Anna Igatz Gomez. Anna, I'm going to elevate you right now. Okay, you should be able to unmute. Okay, I will leave Anna there. I do not see any other attendees that registered to speak in person in the meeting. I will begin to read the ones that asked to have their testimony read aloud.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so just let me get to that list.
Oh, hello, sorry, I just managed to unmute. I don't know if it's too late. Is
No,
it too late?
no, please go ahead.
All right, I'll be very short. I am a parent of high school, Tempe High School District student. And I never thought my daughter was going to vape. This was not a generation that was supposed to get into tobacco and get addicted because of the work of the previous years in the 90s to get them hooked off tobacco. I'm a research scientist. I work at Arizona State University. I'm an electrical engineer, and I have a master's in industrial economics. I'm an educated person, and we don't smoke at home. I never thought my kid was going to do it. I talked with her. We are a healthy family, but my daughter has ADHD and asthma, and as many other parents, I realized she was vaping last year after a major crisis, behavioral health crisis, and I think now she wants to quit and she can't. I'm getting her all the help I can from doctors. There is no treatment for addiction in children younger than 18. And it's really hard. It's really impacting her health terribly. Yes, ADHD kids are a lot more likely to get addicted and then they cannot quit. And she found all the stuff she uses at her school, at the gas stations. I know the supplier she uses, she gets stuff from. They get the stuff from older siblings also that pass them on to them. And all the vapes that I found in her room and within her stuff are flavored ones. They stink, like this synthetic peach, strawberry, really strong smells and flavors. Like I say, I've been talking to her and she says, Mom, you should not hurt yourself doing all these efforts against vaping because nothing is going to stop them. So I'm hoping she's wrong. And thank you for having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak. So you have to stop the sale of tobacco products, even if it is in Tempe. It's the start. It's something that has to happen. All these kids are going to be, we are going to have their health damaged for life, and the impact is going to be much, much greater than any possible loss of sales. So we should look at the big picture for the society. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna begin to read. I also failed to mention that anybody that did not show up that registered to verbalize their comments, a lot of them did write them, and you both received those in a packet earlier. So those words are not totally gone. Okay, I'm getting to my list. The first is from Steve Porter.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Just before you go, is there a Mark Miller that's registered to speak?
Let me look.
If so, I think he's in the queue.
He did not register to speak that I am seeing.
Okay, and then there's a Jason Bartlett who said that he registered to speak, and he is here also. He just
I did not
put a note in the
see
chat.
that, but I can elevate Jason and Mark.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do Jason first. Okay, Jason.
All right, thank you guys. One of the things, statistically looking at the data, I know people are throwing out a lot of numbers. Since T21 was implemented 3 years ago, we've seen drastic reductions in youth, quote, vaping from 6.9 million all the way down now to 2 million. From 2020 to 2021 alone, we saw another 45% reduction. So what we have proven through the data is a reduction based on enforcement and people being aware of the rules. This is simply an enforcement issue, also a parenting issue. If your child needs assistance due to the challenges they have being a cognitive parent, and providing them and educating them, this simply the numbers are just not there. When the American Heart Association is quoting 14% of youth are using tobacco products, that's not true with vaping. It's below 4.8% with 41 million youth in the United States, and now we're kissing sub 2 million vapors. We've seen massive, drastic reductions simply by moving to T21, just like alcohol. Adults are allowed to use flavored products. They're able to make decisions. As this a perfect example, we're seeing youth acquiring these products from adults. That was the #2 complaint. It's not an enforcement at the stores. We're seeing handoff sales. We're seeing these kind of things happening, and this is an education thing. If we really, really want to impact the youth, heart disease issues, we need to reduce obesity, alcohol consumption, things like that. Childhood obesity is rampant. It's not going down. Alcohol consumption is not going down. These are prevalent, right? So the CDC data shows drastic reductions, and next year there'll be further drastic reductions in specifically vaping products, as well as there's no scientific data backing up pure free-base nicotine and addiction levels. There's no scientific data showing cancer causing in freebase. There is data in tobacco combustible cigarettes that are laced with thousands of other ingredients that have natural ingredients like tar in them, right? So unfortunately, kids are obtaining them from other adults. This needs to be curtailed. I'm not saying children should have these products. They shouldn't have alcohol either. And I don't believe they should have high levels of corn syrup and sugar and poor diets in their schools, making them fat and have higher risk for heart disease. Thank you guys. I appreciate everyone for all your work. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Okay, I have a few others that have messaged me in the chat that I will allow to speak. Cynthia Stremba, she did register. I'm going to find you, Cynthia. Okay, Okay, Cynthia, you should be able to unmute. Cynthia, you can unmute and address the council members. Okay, I will leave her there for a minute. Another person that would like to speak is, oh, Akil Alti. I'm going to make you a panelist right now, and then you can address the council members. Akil?
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon, council. My name is Akil, and I owned K Smoke Shop located in Tempe, and I here today to ask you to oppose the total flavor ban on tobacco products. I've been in the tobacco industry for 16 years. This is my only source of income for my family, and this would hurt my business. I take pride in my community, and if it were banned, my customers would leave and go somewhere else to purchase these products. I agree that we should have a statewide legislation to make sure it's fair for all business owners. This measure would negatively impact my business and employers. City leaders should focus on more important things, and during this economic uncertainty and challenging time, please vote no on total flavor ban on all tobacco products. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to elevate Mark Miller now. Well, I can't seem to do it, actually. WebEx is not allowing me to elevate you, Mark. I do not know why.
Let's go back to Cynthia and see if.
Yeah, Cynthia had messaged me offline and said she's having trouble unmuting.
Okay. Do we have anybody else in the queue that needs to be heard? If not, we could go into cards and then try to check back at the end of the cards.
Yeah, we can try that. For some reason.
I see an Aaron Hamu that says that he's there and he'd like to speak also.
Okay, don't know if Aaron had registered prior to the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I'm checking. We did receive quite a few, so no, I'm sorry. Aaron did not register.
Okay. Well, let's go to the cards, and then if we're able to, if they haven't and they can't get on, then we're just going to have to skip through it. I know our agenda is going to be tough on this one, so we'll probably have to get through it.
Yes. Okay, I will start reading. Okay, the first comment card is from Steve Porter. It says, young kids are vaping because it tastes good. Since the vapes are flavored, they don't realize how harmful they can be. These high-dose pods are destroying their lungs. I support banning flavored tobacco in Tempe. Thea Wiki says, I support banning flavored tobacco in Tempe. Charles Cosgrove, flavored tobacco products need to be banned due to the rising addiction rate for juveniles and young adults. Vaping is extremely dangerous in its own self, and companies making it more appeasing to youth is increasing the danger rate to our next generation. No amount of money is worth killing and harming our children and our children's children. The next one is from Lindsay Lair. She says, this is a no-brainer to ban flavored tobacco. It is definitely an attraction to kids and completely uncalled for. Ali Sawyer says, flavors are killing kids. Please remove them from store shelves. Remove the temptation. Kill the bad habits. Let our kids grow to be healthy. April Schweikert says, I have 4 kids, and Tempe is flooded with vape shops and selling it at every corner. I want my children to live long lives. Please protect our children. Susan Brookhouse says, I completely support the ordinance banning flavored tobacco. This is only encouraging for our youth to start a lifestyle of addiction. We have a responsibility as a community and society to protect and encourage our youth to internalize a healthy lifestyle. By banning flavored tobacco, We set an example to the kids and our community that we oppose addicting products. The next one is from Christy Buchanan. In 2020, 24 homeless people died on Tempe streets. How many of them were engaged by the Tempe Hope team prior to the deaths and refused services? And how many times were they engaged before their deaths? In late January, 2 murder suspects were arrested in Tucson homeless encampment. Are the Tempe PD and/or City Park courtesy patrols checking for outstanding warrants in Tempe homeless encampments? If SB 1581 and 3 other bills related to homeless pass, does Tempe plan to establish sanctioned homeless encampments? The next comment card is from Brian Hummel. As historic leaders in tobacco control in the state of Arizona, I urge the city of Tempe to draft the strongest possible ordinance containing the strongest provisions that will end the sale of flavored tobacco, including e-cigarette products in Tempe. Most young people are attracted to tobacco through flavors and the attractive marketing the tobacco industry creates around these flavors. Okay, Claudia Rojas says, on behalf of Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, the leading advocacy organization working to reduce tobacco use and its deadly consequences in the United States and around the world, I want to thank you for addressing youth and tobacco use. We support Tempe City Council's efforts to protect the health and future of Tempe's youth. To do that, we ask you to end the sale of flavored tobacco products within the city of Tempe. Flavored e-cigarettes are fueling a youth nicotine addiction crisis. The tobacco industry has long used flavors like menthol cigarettes to lure kids, communities of color, and vulnerable populations. In fact, the tobacco industry spends about $114 million per year in marketing expenditures each year in Arizona. The facts are clear. 1 in 6 Arizona high school students use e-cigarettes. 7 out of 10 youth e-cigarette users cite flavors as the reason they use e-cigarettes. And 81% of those who have used tobacco started with a flavored product. It's time for the leaders of Tempe to act by drafting the strongest possible ordinance containing the strongest provisions that will end the sale of flavored tobacco and e-cigarette products in Tempe. Thank you for addressing this important public health issue. Flavored tobacco are a huge detriment to our community's youth. I urge you to draft the, I'm sorry, that was Claire Natalie. Go to the next one. Right, hold on. Claire Natalie. Flavored tobacco are a huge detriment to our community's youth. I urge you to draft the strongest possible ordinance containing the strongest provisions that will end the sale of flavored tobacco and e-cigarette products in Tempe. E-cigarette companies created these products, and Tempe retailers who sell them deliver massive doses of nicotine in flavors like latte, mint, strawberry, and more. Kids do not think these are harmful, but they are. Okay, the next card is from Joe Uhas. I join with the members of the Tempe Coalition working with and on behalf of a growing chorus of public health, education, youth advocacy, and service organizations, and perhaps most importantly, parents and kids, in supporting the strongest possible ordinance that will end the sale of flavored tobacco and e-cigarette products in Tempe. Some believe that a minor change here and an enforcement adjustment there will reverse the appalling trend where 1 out of 6 Arizona high school students now use e-cigarettes, a trend in which 50% of youth ages 12 to 17 who smoke traditional cigarettes use menthol-flavored products. It won't. It is kid-friendly flavors like fruit, mint, cotton candy, and even breakfast cereal that is the reason. Flavored products that are promoted through the echo of marketing, advertising, and sponsorship efforts that target youth. That's where the strongest possible ordinance is necessary, one that will end the sale of all flavored tobacco and e-cigarette products in Tempe. This approach to attack the epidemic youth e-cigarette and tobacco use is far more novel. Over 300 cities and 5 states have adopted ordinances and laws to end the sale of flavored products that clearly target kids while allowing tobacco-flavored products to remain available at retailers for adult use. While Tempe will be the first community in Arizona to take this bold action, it won't be the last. In fact, it will reaffirm Tempe's long and noble history of leadership in putting public health ahead of big tobacco, and those who peddle their products that stems back to its adoption of an ordinance to end smoking in restaurants and public places even before the adoption of the statewide measure. This ordinance is needed. It is progressive, most fitting for a community like Tempe. It is justified, proper, moral, and will help save the next generation from a lifetime of nicotine addiction. And the final card to read into record is from Joanna Struther. My name is Joanna Struther. I serve as a Senior Director of Advocacy for the American Lung Association. Last month, the American Lung Association released its 20th annual State of Tobacco Control report. The report finds that we have made progress in 20 years of tobacco control, but there is more we can do to protect Arizonans from tobacco use, especially our youth. Tempe is a leader when it comes to tobacco control and was one of the earliest communities to prohibit smoking in restaurants, doing so before the statewide law went into effect. Tempe can again be a leader in this critical cause, becoming the first city in Arizona to end the sale of flavored tobacco products, as over 300 other cities in 5 states have done, and leading what will become a statewide movement. I urge you to protect our youth and to draft the strongest possible ordinance containing the strongest provisions that will end the sale of flavored tobacco products in Tempe. Thank you. Joanna Struther, American Lung Association. Okay, I think we have another person that had registered, that had messaged me. Graham Matthew, I am going to make you a panelist so you can address the council. Okay, Graham.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yep.
I would like to thank the members of the council for allowing me to speak. Hello, everyone. I'm Graham Matthews. I've lived in Tempe for over 20 years, and I graduated from Arizona State in 2005. I own a wholesale business based in Tempe for over 10 years, and vape products have become a big part of our business. Today, I'm here to talk about vaping. Vaping is the future, and it's something I'm impassioned about, primarily because the alternative is smoking. I'm 39 years old, and I grew up in a different world. I rode in vehicles filled with cigarette smoke. I rode in elevators that people smoked in, and I continuously had headaches from cigarette smoke and found the smell to be repugnant, stale, disgusting, and repulsive. Fast forward to 2022. Now we live in a healthier world. We live in a world with vaping. Vaping is a pleasant aroma that dissipates quickly and doesn't leave a lingering smell behind. Vaping is something a participant can do that does not affect others. There is no secondhand vaping converse to the deadly effects of secondhand smoke. Vaping does not do harm to others that are near the person vaping. Today, February 25th, 2022, 10,000 people will die from tobacco usage. 0 people will die from vaping. Smoking is deadly and cancerous, and witnessing a loved one dying of cancer is something I wish no person ever has to experience. Vaping is my business, but I'm also extra driven and motivated by the elimination of tobacco smoking. A world without vaping is a world with tobacco smoking. My vote is to keep vaping in Tempe. Let us all live in a healthier, safer, futuristic world. A world with pleasant, harmless vape smell rather than gross tobacco smell. Smoking is the past, vaping is the future. Join me in a better future. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you, Graham.
Thank you.
Hey, Cynthia, I'm going to try to manually unmute you, and we will see if that works. Cynthia, I think if you speak, we can hear you. Cynthia?
Tim, is there anyone else?
Yeah, there's one more. I think I can manually unmute Mark Miller instead of making him a panelist because WebEx is blocking me from that. So I will try right now.
Okay.
Okay, Mark, you should be able to speak.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you so much for your patience. Council members, this is really just a complicated issue, and just wanted to explain a little bit who I am and what we do. My name is Mark Miller, and I work for the Arizona Food Marketing Alliance. We've been around for about almost 80 years now. I represent the grocery stores, the convenience stores, and the independents just in Arizona and throughout Arizona. We do business in all 90 cities, 91 cities in Arizona. And we spent so much time and money doing our best to train our people to recognize illegal IDs. They're pretty predominant throughout the internet. Now you can get them for less than $50 with a fake ID, and we've done a good job, I believe, of training our people. We've also invested in technology that can identify a fake ID and also verify the age of 21. We did take it upon ourselves, even without a state regulation for 21, we did all adopt 21 to ensure that no one under that age could purchase any nicotine items, including vape and cigarettes. There's a lot of different decisions. You've seen the passionate people here, and there's so many choices that people can make, from tobacco, alcohol, food that isn't necessarily good for us, but they're all legal products, and we take it seriously that it's our responsibility to ensure that when something is age restricted, that it has a state solution. Everything today, whether again it is tobacco, alcohol, the lottery, online gambling, all of that is 21 and requires a lot of checking, and they all have a state solution. And and even including marijuana now too. So we all have to worry about that now with our kids. But we do our best to protect the people under 21 and ensure that they cannot buy any of these products, both again tobacco, alcohol, and again the gaming products. The FDA has banned so many different flavors. They've received millions of applications, and at this point I believe they've only approved 22. So federally, they're going to continue to do their best to make sure that only the flavors that are proven are accepted. And again, you've heard a couple other people say that there's so many places close by your city, adjacent cities, there's at least 5 or so that, a Tempe solution won't really do enough. And that's why we are really pushing hard for our Bill 1245 that has enforcement, it has penalties, and it's done by the Liquor Control, where we think they can best enforce the rules that are put forward by the state. And again, if you do decide to go forward, we sure hope that you will include the stakeholders from the retailers. Thank you for your service to Tempe. We know this is difficult, but we want to do the right thing, and we really believe that a state solution will help provide the means to keep it out of the youth of Arizona. Thank you for your time and your understanding on the technology. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right, Councilmember Navarro, I just have a list of names to read that sent in around 30 comment cards that I will just voice their names as they are for Tempe taking action on ordinance. So the list of names: Ivy Biritz, Don Lawson, Randy Kopel, Brandy Hall, Shelley Kistner, Susan Reinhart, Tracy Cavendish, Colleen Nix, Mario Cruz Hernandez, Becky Dellerme, Karen Jones, Denise Beagley, Melissa Kruger, Michelle Klein, Regina Durbin Miller, Greg Swan, Tita Radivsky, Abby Reichel, Trisha Christian, Kevin Quinn, Tiffany Nee, Melinda Meyer, Molly Morrissey, Ramzan Kasha, Michael Ullman, Stephen Salcido, Tamara McQueen, Joyce Clinton, Emily Schweikert, Molly Johnson, and Amy Davis. And that is the end of the comment cards.
Perfect, Tim. Thank you for doing that. And thank you, everybody. I know this is a hot topic, and I know everybody would like to have their voices heard, and we appreciate that for stepping up. And for those that could not get on, we do understand both sides of the situation. So let's move on. Next item on the agenda is the committee session items, current items that are up for discussion. And I know we're going to switch on the agenda. So let's go ahead and take the flavored tobacco e-cigarettes. We're going to go ahead and start with Naomi.
Oh, it's Tim. It's me.
Oh, Tom, sorry, Tim, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
There you are.
Here I am again. Okay, so this is the discussion regarding the limiting of the sale of flavored tobacco for e-cigarettes within the city of Tempe. This discussion meets two of our important council priorities, 1.21, youth alcohol, marijuana, and opioid usage rate, and 1.31, addressing opioids. For background for this discussion for all attendees and yourself, we had first discussed this item at the October 22nd Human Services and Community Safety Council Committee. And as a result of that meeting, we approached the entire council body at a November 17th work study to ask for the ability to use the city attorney's office to research recommendations to move forward if we wanted to consider a possible ordinance change. So far, as was mentioned in a few of the testimonies, 5 states, California, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, and Rhode Island, prohibit the sale of flavored e-cigarettes. Those are the 5 states. Arizona is one of the 12 states that does not have a tobacco retail license as a state. We included this narrative in here to show that the federal government does regulate a lot when it comes to the sale of tobacco, but the most important thing is that it does not preempt local governments from establishing ordinances or laws that are a little bit stronger, right? This is a little technical, but these are the 3 clauses: the preservation clause, preemption clause, and savings clause that really dictate how the federal government looks at what we are proposing, which is a local ordinance here for the city of Tempe. How the FDA is regulating. In April 2020, the FDA issued a final guidance describing its enforcement priorities for ENDS products, which stands for electronic nicotine delivery systems, and other deemed products on the market without pre-market authorization. The FDA is now prioritizing enforcement of the pre-market review requirements for certain ENDS products, especially flavored cartridge-based ENDS products, except for tobacco or menthol flavored products. However, even this is changing. It reached this decision after data showed that youth use was higher for mint and fruit flavored products. Applications for ENDS were required to be submitted to the FDA by September 9th, 2020. The agency rejected more than 1 million flavored ENDS products that lacked sufficient evidence that the benefit of adult smokers who use flavored products would overcome the public health concern posed by the well-documented and considerable appeal to products of youth. In April 2020, the agency announced that it will ban menthol as a characterizing flavor in cigarettes and ban all characterizing flavors, including menthol, of cigars. What is important for this discussion, which was mentioned quite a few times, is that there are 2 bills currently being worked through the process, SB 1245 and House Bill 2125. Currently, Arizona state law allows cities to regulate tobacco sales. There are several bills in these 2 that, if passed, may affect the city's ability to legislate in this area. Specifically, Senate Bill 1245, if it becomes law, will deem tobacco regulation as a matter of statewide concern, and the city will be severely limited in its ability to regulate tobacco products. The city of Tempe is registered as opposed to this because of language in the bill in regards to things that would preempt decisions that we already made here at the local level. So Senate Bill 1245 would prohibit, beginning January 1st, 2024, a retail tobacco vendor from distributing tobacco, alternative nicotine, or vapor products in Arizona without a valid retail sales license. SB 1245 in practice raises the legal age to purchase tobacco products in Arizona to meet the federal law, which, as you heard and know, already places a minimum age at 21 on the purchase of such products. The bill expressly preempts, with some exceptions, local restrictions on sales and marketing of tobacco, alternative nicotine, and vapor products. The bill would likely deny Tempe the ability to ban flavored products within its jurisdiction. House Bill 2125 is a health industries bill, which prescribes age requirements, penalties, restrictions, and licensing requirements related to the purchase and sale of tobacco products. In regards to what other Arizona municipalities have been doing, Cottonwood, Douglas, Flagstaff, Goodyear, and Tucson enacted ordinances raising the minimum age to 21. And last year, the city of Phoenix proposed an ordinance to end the sale of all flavored tobacco products in January 2021, but it did not move forward at that time. So in specific regards to this conversation, the city attorney's office needs direction from this committee on how to pursue a draft ordinance if the city council is in favor of looking at this. There's no state or federal preemption. The city of Tempe's tax and license division can create a tobacco license. The city currently regulates other businesses within our borders, such as massage, mobile vending, scrap dealers, secondhand retailers. So tax and license could manage this license as well. Tax and license can create the license type with associated fees, penalties for late pay, non-compliance as needed. Enforcement is an issue of major concern for the city. Staff suggests that if this was to be instituted, it should be instituted with a retailer affirmation that states that they will not sell flavored vape. If they are found to be selling flavored vape, the city would revoke the license. This would mitigate the need for compliance checks and undue pressure on our police professionals. So at this point, I know the city attorney's office would be looking to both of you and this committee for direction on what you would like to see in a draft ordinance.
Thanks, Tim. Doreen, you want to go ahead and if you have anything, and if not, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just say a couple things. One, I just want to tell everybody thank you so much for your comment cards and emails that you've sent in and your comments this evening. It's really important that we hear from people of all sides when we're trying to do our due diligence to make sure that we've got all our bases covered when we are looking at making changes like this. So I just want to say thank you very much. And to our business members who are part of this meeting and have been listening and paying attention to this, you know, I appreciate you doing business in the city of Tempe. All of our businesses are very valuable to us, whether you're a big business or a small business. And we do care about you as a business, and we care about your employees and the owners and the families that are associated with those. But you know, I think we also need to be concerned about the children in our community. And I will just say that, you know, I know that the SB 1245 wants to raise the limit on the age limit and requirement, but I don't think that has anything to do with the problem that we seem to be having. We have children that are as young as now elementary school in surveys and information here just in the Kyrene School District that have already tried vaping, and they're trying flavored vaping. So they're trying, you know, those flavored tobaccos. So I think it's important for us to look at moving forward with the discussion on what this new ordinance would do in the city of Tempe, because, you know, somebody had said, one of the comments was that, you know, the businesses are really important, and I believe that our businesses are important and the people, but I think our children are more important, and doing what we can to try to help protect them in this way, I think is the right thing to do. So I think if nothing else, I think we at least need to look at moving forward with this and seeing what our staff can come up with regarding the ordinance. So that's my thoughts so far.
Yeah, thank you. No, yeah, I have to say, obviously, when you talk to coalitions, when you talk to parents, when you talk to the community, I mean, overwhelmingly, we probably get the same sentiment that, yeah, this is a problem. We do not want our kids to be exposed to this problem, and we need to do something about it. I know the state's been trying to get after this for some years now to try to get some regulation on it, and kudos to them going for it, because obviously this is an issue that needs to be somewhat regulated. So I do agree that we do need to let staff go out to explore broadly what we can do to, you know, craft something if we were to choose to craft something as an ordinance going forward. I think that we also need to look at the other cities to make sure that we're also staying in line with what they have crafted, but we should also look at what the state is trying to do in terms of how the languages they're using on various aspects of what bill they're trying to pass in addition. In addition to that, I think that with the attorney's office, with our intergovernmental office, we need to also just kind of stay aware of what the state is up at, or what the state might be going forward with, and how that would affect anything that we do, or how can we hopefully collaborate with something that would actually hopefully have something that we all can, you know, get around. So those are things that I'm looking for. And obviously, if we don't have staff explore it, we don't do anything. So we need at least staff to get involved to see what they can draft up, have us look at it. I believe we'll be able to have it come back to this meeting, get some input. Obviously, I think we need to, whatever input we can get from the public and or from the business community. I know we're hearing our concerns right now. I don't think the sentiment is going to be too different, in terms of the business community, because it is an effect on their bottom line. But what can we do to hopefully soften that, if that was possible, and hopefully if the boundaries of other cities were to come on board? So I think we need to feel the pulse of the surrounding cities in addition, to see where they're at or if they're considering crafting these things. But we do need to explore it. So if anything, let's give an opportunity to look at those things. I think what we have in here in the policy to consider is a good starting list of things that we need to potentially get. I know that when we talk about enforcement of age, it does get problematic with having police doing that, knowing that there's probably other ways of possibly doing those enforcements. I do like the consideration of the potential.
I think we lost Councilmember Navarro.
Okay, I think we lost Councilman Navarro, but one thing I do want to say at the end is that it would be great to have staff just to do some more research, and if they could bring that back to us, and just so people who are listening will know that this does not get voted on by this committee. We just get the information that is going to be brought back to us. And then we will look at that again, and then we send it to the full council to do discussion and voting. It's not done in this committee. But I just want to make sure that everybody knew that. All right.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Garland. There's one other thing that I did want to mention. The city of Tempe does have a process called Tempe Informing the Public. And that is one of the processes that we use specifically when we are developing an ordinance, that we gather the input of multiple stakeholders. So anytime the city of Tempe does an ordinance or does a planning for an ordinance that affects other parties, we do bring them into the discussion while we are crafting that. So this is not the only place where the discussion happens with stakeholders.
Okay. Thank you very much. And can we find TIP on the on our website that people can see what that is?
You can. Yeah, it is. Yep, it is on the website.
Okay, great. Let's write that down. All right. All right, great. Well, thank you very much, Tim. And I do not see Councilmember Navarro is able to get back on yet, so we will go ahead and move on to our next item. The next presentation that we have is a presentation on the Chief's Office of Community Policing. Oh, there's Joe.
Go ahead. I crashed.
And so we'd like to welcome Marilyn DeRosa, Kathy Hollow, and Ellie Volson to be able to start that discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, what was the item?
Presentation on the Chief's Office of Policing.
Yes, that is Assistant Chief Anderson and Chief Glover.
Well, how did I get the names wrong on there? Anyway, there you go. I got me as a rookie. We needed Joel in there. All right, Chief Anderson.
You can blame me. It's okay.
I thought those looked wrong. All right, how are you? Oh,
hello. I'm doing well. We have the chief.
The chief
be presenting here. Yes, and I'm going to be helping him.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
All right. You want to start from the first slide, Assistant Chief Anderson?
I sure am. Let me bring it up here real quick.
All right.
Can you see the slide now?
Yeah, it's not in presentation view though. It still has notes. And I think it's one of the last slides that's up right now.
Are we there now?
Okay, we're there, and we just need to get it in presentation mode.
You're not in presentation mode, huh? I am. Sorry about that. Okay, let's come back out. Sorry about that.
You're like me, I had a meeting yesterday and my son was home and I wanted to go get my 21-year-old to come out and help me
Yeah.
get my slide presentation going.
I
can do
think,
it pretty quick.
oh, you still see it, it's not there. I see it in presentation mode here on mine, but not
We
here.
see it. I see it now
That's
in
good.
presentation mode.
Awesome.
Okay, we will get started. Thank you. And good afternoon, Councilmember Garland and Councilmember Navarro and members of Human Services Community Safety Council Committee. Today we're presenting on the Chief's Office of Community Policing and what we are doing with that office. We are doing a relational-based policing, which is a part of the reason why I call for the induction of the Chief's Office of Community Policing. It is my goal to align our collective efforts to meet our council performance priorities, such as safe and secure community, as well as quality of life for all residents. Hence, the mission is to align Tempe's internal collaborative problem-solving partners to improve the quality of life for residents by centralizing police resources and using a diverse team to collaborate wraparound services and external partners to increase responsiveness. This is designed to create a safer city for Tempe. Today, I want to introduce one strategy called neighborhood policing, and here is a snapshot of that concept. Next slide, and we have a video for you. I promise we have a video.
The purpose of this training is to discuss our intent to use neighborhood policing by talking about the Cavalier Hills Neighborhood Community Policing Plan. What is neighborhood policing? We initially looked at the birthplace of this concept in New York, and we learned that the cornerstone of today's New York Police Department is neighborhood policing, a comprehensive crime-fighting strategy built on improved communication and collaboration between local police officers and community residents. Neighborhood policing greatly increases connectivity and engagement with the community without diminishing and, in fact, improving the New York Police Department's crime-fighting capabilities. Yet, we are not in New York. Hi, I'm Tempe Police Sergeant Hector Encinas, and I want to talk to you about an evidence-based community policing strategy called neighborhood policing. Members of the City of Tempe consisted of Community Affairs Specialist Lisa Groom, Sergeant Alfredo Jimenez, and Ryan Cook. We're tasked to examine neighborhood policing and see if the community policing philosophy could work in Tempe.
Yeah, good morning, Justin. Out of the 350 sworn officers with the Tempe Police Department, about 10 to 15 were raised in the city they now serve. So today we are introducing you to who those officers are and the impact they say it's had on their job. Can I fill up your guys' tea for you? You may have seen her at events like Tempe Tip a Cop for the Special Olympics. They really see the human side about it. We implemented extra patrol, extra presence in the area, and answering questions when residents have concerns. We need to find out what's going on and who's responsible for that. That's because Detective Natalie Varela is the spokesperson for the Tempe Police Department. She's been with the department for 6 years and has had many different roles, from working patrol to school resource officer.
The Office of Community Policing is working to address some of the community concerns and to start embracing the neighborhood policing philosophy. Yet, before engaging into a problem, it's good to know about the community and some of the concerns. It's important to note, no community deserves to have individuals disrupt their quality of life.
All right, next slide. So the Chief's Office of Community Policing, statistical overview. Since November of 2021, the Office of Community Policing, Patrol, and Human Services coordinated together for 353 citizen assist contacts. The average 2,000 plus pounds of encampment debris removed from public spaces on a weekly basis. And so, you know, they're doing a lot of great work. One of the highlights is that we attended multiple neighborhood meetings to be able to understand and address community concerns, which has helped with the increase of foot patrols and or patrols within certain neighborhoods that have called for more attention as it relates to different issues that we're dealing with that impacts the quality of life for our community. Next slide. Chief Glover's 3 C's on philosophy. So the 3 C's, it's community policing, adapting the evidence-based strategy of neighborhood policing, which incorporates the principles of problem-oriented policing, which is POP for short. Community engagement, building strong alliances within the community, focusing on trust and legitimacy. And the 3rd C, which is collaborative leadership, which is aligning the internal leadership of the Tempe Police Department to bring people together in constructive ways with good information and good intentions to create strategies for addressing the shared goals of the organization and the community. This philosophy really provides us and our employees an understanding of our overall direction and striving to be the best police department in the country and taking care of our community. Next slide. Community responses on the horizon. A highlight of our community policing efforts is to embrace collaborative leadership, which includes the utilization of non-sworn, unbadged community responders and neighborhood ambassadors that can respond to calls for service that were previously the responsibility of sworn police officers. Additionally, a pilot project where some community responders will work with human services as neighborhood ambassadors to address quality of life issues is part of the utilization of these positions. This presentation provides us what is to come in fiscal year of 22-23. And as you can see on the slide, there's a listing of job responsibilities that the community responders and or the neighborhood ambassadors would be a part of. And that is something that, we are really eager to be able to roll out, because obviously with many of the different calls for service that they would respond to, it would take a lot of the burden off of the sworn personnel from responding to those calls while still being able to deliver high quality of service to our Tempe community. And with that, we will address any questions that you may have.
Chief Glover, outstanding. Thank you guys, both of you guys, for the presentation. This is great information. Dorian, I'll go with you first and I'll follow up.
All right, thank you. I really love anything with the word community in it, because to me that just tells everybody that it's a way of bringing people together, that we are building community and building those relationships. And I think that's really important for your department, for our residents, is to build those relationships. And I think that's exactly what you're doing. And being able to have this department or this area really working on focusing on that, I think is really a smart thing for us to be able to do. Again, it's building relationships, building trust. People get to know their officers. And I think being able to go to neighborhood association meetings and bringing those officers who are responsible for the area where those neighborhoods are, that means an awful lot. I mean, I would love to be able to know who the officer is that I'm probably going to be seeing. I'll see him drive in my neighborhood every once in a while, but it'd be great to know their names. So I just love this way that you're doing this, because I also think that this is another way for us to be more proactive in knowing what's going on in our community than being reactive later. So I just want to say, I love this idea. I love it a lot. I like the community responders, the neighborhood ambassadors. I think it's a great program, and I'm so excited that we're doing it in Tempe. So thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you, council member.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, outstanding. I mean, this is great, guys. I mean, we're actually moving the needle to make your job easier, to make more efficiencies within the community. And this is just great that we're starting to strive that way. And I appreciate you guys just really tearing into this. And I know there's more we can do. I know that there's funding that needs to be taking place on this. And you have my full support going forward when we talk about policing and better policing within our community. Would I love to have a cop on a corner? Yes. I mean, it's just one of those things. And I think when you have that relationship with the neighborhoods, with the schools, you really bring community together. And I think it's outstanding. And then Assistant Chief Anderson, thank you for running the wheels of the behind the scenes stuff. You stumbled a little bit, but I would do the same. I would black out like my screen just did, and I would be like, where am I at? So I appreciate you staying on there.
Almost did that, council member.
So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for the report. Is there anything else, Dorian? You good?
Nope. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you so much. Okay. We are moving on ahead, Tim. I think that's it. I'm going to pull up the agenda here real quick because my stuff did.
I think next is me, 4B.
Got it.
New items for consideration. So the items for the March 25th Human Services Community Safety Council Committee. We have one, which will be a human services update that we do bi-monthly. And I will probably be adding other things to that, but right now that's what we got. So our next meeting is going to be March 25th at noon. And we hope that you can join us. So if we don't have anything else, I'm to call for an adjournment.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.